In this video, we're going to talk about three different parameters related to Postgres logging. The first one is log destination. By default, it is set to stdr. And then possible values are stdr, syslog, csv, event log for Windows. And the recommendation is used to the default, which is stdr. And CSV format can be helpful in some cases. For example, if you want to load the CSV files into a table and run some reports, you could use that format sometimes. And then it is possible to have both the formats, comma separated. And then next important parameter is logging collector. By default, in some versions it is set to off. The recommendation is to set it to on. So what are the problems that you're going to face if you don't set it to on? Problem one is, if you have the logging collector disabled, log messages will go to system stdr file syslog. On some platforms, not using this collector can result in lost or garbled log output. And then it will be hard to enable automated rotation if they are written to system log. It will be hard to filter the Postgres messages if they are combined with general system messages. Let's say you have a lot of system messages in your syslog, and then also the Postgres messages are included. It will be hard to filter out as needed. And also changing this requires a restart of Postgres. So when you build a server and deploy into production, make sure that you enable this beforehand. Then the third important parameter is log directory. Default is log. Once you enable logging collector, all your log files will be written in this subfolder called log, which is under the data directory. Our recommendation is not to use the default log. Better to use separate mount for your logs. Don't try to collocate with the data directory. In some cases it might be fine, but in some other cases it's better to use a different path. So what are different problems you might run into if you use the default log directory? The backup programs like PG-based backup will back up the entire data directory, and it might include all the log files in the log subdirectory. And if you have a ton of logs, you don't want to necessarily include those in the backups. So that is problem one. Problem two is sometimes, depending on your benchmark results, it's better to have a custom partition for logs. And then when there is ton of logging activity, it could fill up the data directory because it is residing in the same path and could cause an outage. So now we have dealt with three different parameters, and in the subsequent demo, we're going to see how we can use KloudDB Shield to properly configure these parameters. So we have seen three different parameters that are important for Postgres security. Now we're going to leverage KloudDB Shield to check current values and possible remediation procedures. If you haven't installed KloudDB Shield yet, please check the description of this video. There will be a link pointing to a video which explains how to install this. So once you install and configure the file needed to authenticate, you can run this cs collector sr, and then you need to choose one for Postgres, and then I don't want to run HBA scanner, but HBA scanner is a other feature you want to use if you want to know if there are any issues with your HBA file. You get this security score. Once you run it, the overall score is 60% for the default installation. And then also it generates two different files. For now, let me check the JSON file. Then if you want to check the three parameters, logging collector, you can see that by default it is off, and then the status is failed. So ensure that logging collector is enabled. So once you remediate this, once you turn this on, this will be a pass. The status will turn to pass for this. And then for the log file destination, we have it as pass. And then the third one, we have it as pass as well. You can also leverage the HTML report. So this file you can view to see graphically what is the score. So this is the HTML report. Then this is one parameter we looked at. Already it has the right value, so it is saying pass. The second one we looked at was logging collector. This one has failed. And then you should have this turned on for security. And then there is a third parameter also you can check. So this HTML report is very useful to see graphically what are all the controls that are passing versus failing. That's all for this video, and please check other videos on this YouTube channel.